Welcome back to another video. Today we are finally installing a front bumper and lights and a winch onto the Tundra. I've been waiting a long time to do this. Ever since the truck got hit in the front, I decided that it was time to get a new bumper in the front, and a year later, here we are. It took a little while to get everything organized and put together and kind of pick out everything I wanted. So let's give you guys a little walk around of the parts that I got and kind of the reason why I chose them. So this is a C4 Fabrication Overland style front bumper. It is powder coated in black, and as you can tell, I don't have any bars on top that you would add on when you ordered the bumper. Unfortunately, I can't really get a good angle to show you guys just because this thing is heavily weighted and it wants to fall. So I have it kind of held up here with a little 2x4. But you can see that there is room up in the front for a 40-inch light bar, and then on each side we can put a little pod light there. This bumper also does come with 2 recovery points here, and then it obviously has a slot down on the bottom for a winch. And then what I really like about this bumper is that you can integrate the crash sensor and the radar that Toyota has right here. Another great thing is it also integrates the parking sensors that would fit into these holes. So basically, you shouldn't get any check engine lights or any warning lights when you mount this bumper because you can put all the stock stuff into it. And of course, this is kind of the plated style. So it's not a tubular bumper, which I'm not too big of a fan of on like an overland style truck. I think this gives it a nice like OEM plus appearance. And onto the lights. I chose to go with Baja design. I've watched a bunch of videos, and while there's a bunch of other competitors out there, as for the bumper, I really wanted their 40-inch bar. It just integrated the best and it fit the best for the bumper. And with that, I had to get their Squadron Sports to fit into the fog light spot on the sides so that I didn't have 2 different brands. I chose to go with amber for all of the lenses. I've had the best luck with the amber at nighttime. Personally, I'm able to just see a lot better through the dust with the amber when I tend to go off-roading. And I think the light just carries a little bit better and works better with natural lighting for your eyes at nighttime. So the reason why I decided to go with the Badland was because it's a really good price point. It is one of the cheaper ones. I've seen some great reviews on it, and I haven't heard that many bad things. With that, I was able to purchase a 2-year warranty for another $100 or so, which made this totally appealing and made it the obvious choice for me to get one of these. It is wired. It is wireless. You can kind of function in either or. Comes with synthetic rope, and it already has all this Fairlead stuff. Another reason why I really liked this bumper design is because it kind of follows the OEM lines. Please ignore the front mustache cover is gone. It actually broke off. I do have a brand new one, but it kind of, like I said, it kind of follows the curves here. It cuts out, so we don't have to have this piece anymore, and it comes down, follows the grill, so you basically keep your whole grill. You don't have to cut this up, and it gets rid of all of this down here, which is going to give us a lot of front clearance. So I know for a lot of my videos, I tend to show you guys a full DIY on how to put all this stuff onto the truck. But C4 Fabrication made an incredible video for you guys to check out that I will be using to install this bumper on the truck. I will put the link for their video in the description down below, and also throw all the parts that I'm using in the description as well. With that, let's start tearing this thing apart and get right into it. I don't know if this is going to cause a problem, not having this piece here, but we're just going to kind of go with it. I can't wait to get rid of all this banged up look. It's going to be so much better. So something I did notice is this particular measurement from the top of the bumper, where they say to do it. They say to go to the 1/4 inch mark. It's a little bit lower than the rest of these 3. So I'm guessing they want sort of a gradual rise. In the video, when he marks it out, it shows to be about 8.5, but I'm going to go based off of the written because I'm pretty sure that's probably more accurate. So we're going to do 8.25 here, kind of follow up this grade. And this one, you kind of have to eye it once you get your measurement, but it goes to one of these honeycomb here. If I'm thinking about this correctly, like worst case scenario, I'd rather take less of the bumper and then kind of shave away if I really need to. So lower the better. I'd rather not have a big gap in between the bumper itself. And at this point, we're going to basically marry these 2. I will say, having these top little tow hook mounts has helped, because when I take the bumper off, it doesn't fall. It kind of rests on these toe points, which is nice. There it goes. God, it's so scary every time. I feel like when I break something. And we've got the bumper off. Now the fun part begins. So now that we have the bumper off, pretty much going to start disassembling this whole thing. We're going to take all the side pieces off, which is all these little screws here. And then we're going to take off the active air dam if you have those. And then we're going to remove like that chrome mustache piece. Mine broke off, so a little bit of a shortcut there for me. But with these, what I noticed in the videos, these green things are super sensitive. So I've got to get a razor blade kind of behind it and try to cut it off, because it's just on there with adhesive, and protect that green thing from breaking, because can't get new ones from Toyota apparently. And then basically just remove all the screws, take this lower valence off, disconnect all the wiring harness, and separate pretty much literally just the grill from all this rest of the stuff. We're just exploding it and breaking it down into little pieces. And then now we got the corner piece off after just removing those screws. And now we're ready to set this thing aside so that we can cut it. And now to continue with the teardown of this, we want to basically disconnect the entire wiring harness and fold it up, and then take off this lower valence and this kind of like lower portion that attaches to the grill, because we're going to be cutting it up. So now that we're kind of getting close to removing this entire grill, I realized that this would be a great time if you wanted a TRD Pro grill. This would be the time to do it, because you have to do basically this entire thing to put the grill on. So if you don't have a TRD Pro grill and you want one, might as well spend the money now, because you're going to spend another 5 to 6 hours doing all this. All right, I'll be honest, this is probably the most frustrating part, is just getting all this stuff taken apart. I think it's probably just really hard with one person. And I found that if you take this off first, it's a lot easier. We now have all this separated. Time to get this kind of organized and cleaned up and separate what we need to cut, and what we're just going to set aside and not use again. Now I've got these all done. I'm going to move on to cutting the little edge piece on the bumper. We're going to cut along the top here. It's going to get kind of tricky down in here. Hopefully I line this up correct. This is probably the part that I'm most nervous for, is the cutting. There's some kind of deeper spots. I'm just going to connect my cuts here. Now we can take these little pieces that we cut off, basically start putting the whole grill back together, throw these back where they would normally go in their spots, and then start reattaching the grill to this outer portion. And I ordered a new piece that was already painted from Painted OEM Parts. It came out pretty well, so now I'm just going to throw this thing back on. And with that, we are done with cutting up the bumper and reassembling it for now. Now we're going to move on to removing the crash bar. There's just these bolts here, and this thing should just pop off pretty easily. And now I'm just removing this front little brace here. And since I'm using a winch, we have to relocate this coolant line. Basically take this bracket off, and we're just going to relocate this hose so we have some more space to work with. And now we've kind of given this hose a lot of slack to move, so we're going to reinstall this bracket here. It just gets it out of the way for when we have a winch. And fortunately, since I don't have the active air dam, because I think it's because if you get the TRD Offroad, it doesn't come with the air dam. There's no motor here that we have to deal with relocating. So that saves a lot of time on this install. So I ran into a little issue with getting the bumper finished mounting up. A lot of the brackets that came with the bumper in a separate box, I realized that I didn't have powder coated. So I had to send those out to get powder coated. They should be done hopefully today. But in the time being, we can spend this downtime wiring up for the lights. Since we're going to have 2 pod lights and a giant light bar, we have to do essentially 3 different wiring sets. Now I'm not sure if I've talked about it before, But with wiring, you want to make sure that you have the appropriate gauge wire for the amperage output of your lights, in which case the pod lights individually put out about 2.2 amps. So I'm going to run those actually individual until I get back to the controller, and then I'll pair them up to one switch, which will be a 5 amp max fuse. And then the big guy, the 40-inch light bar from Baja, that's a 16 amp light, so it's pretty powerful. It is going to require a lot thicker wire. I believe I can run it with a 12 gauge wire as long as I maintain under 10 feet or something like that, according to the chart that I was looking at. But let's get started wiring it up. I basically just have to follow all the way back that I've done for this guy here for the front LED bar and the grill. Now, this is a hybrid Tundra, as you can tell by all the green or orange wiring. Normally you would have a battery, I believe, over there on the passenger side, but because I have a hybrid, it actually sits in the back seat underneath the seat. So I have to do all my wiring straight to the back. What I can do here is there is a grommet for the main wiring harness that runs through kind of right here in line with the firewall. It's really easily accessible. I've ran most of my wires through there. So I'm just going to run it through there. It comes out right underneath the dash, and then I can run it along the doors. So started with the farthest one, got the wires kind of routed underneath. Going to be getting more slack and cleaning that up later. Ran it through the firewall, and for this one I'm trying to keep it as clean as possible, so I'm running it kind of this upper radiator support underneath here, and you can kind of see it's peeking out right here. I'm going to zip tie it up and hide it up underneath so it's not so obvious, and then I kind of just had it follow the headlight, and it just falls down right there, and it'll be perfect for that fog light. And I'm just going to repeat it a little bit shorter, drop it down on this side for that one. As far as the middle one goes, I'm not sure where the connector will end up. Hopefully it's on this side so I don't have to run it all the way up and down. We'll see when we get to that point. And I received a phone call that all of my parts were done being powder coated. Just went with a flat black to match with the bumper. But now we can get started installing all this stuff back on the truck. So I really like how they have these like support brackets to guard the intercooler or the radiators here, so that nothing can jump up from the bumper and damage this, which is nice. Nice little afterthought. And of course it wouldn't be a great install without a bolt cross-threading. These outside ones are very finicky, so be careful if you're going to be installing these. When I noticed if you put some pressure inward on this bracket, it kind of flattens it out and makes it so there's less tension on that bolt when you go to thread it in. And finally, we can start reassemble the bumper. So I'm going to throw this thing on. Now that we have it on here, we can start to position our bumper back in place on the sides. Now, because we cut off a lot of the bottom bumper, there's not a lot of support on this bottom side to hold the active air dam. So they provide nice little L brackets that we're going to place just like that and kind of help support this. We're going to basically lift it just a little bit, put these in there with the supplied hardware. And then for me, I noticed my grill flops around quite a bit. So to prevent that, I'm going to throw a couple of zip ties on this lower frame here. And I'm actually going to utilize these clips that aren't getting used anymore since we cut the bottom half. And now it feels like we're getting close. So now we can put on these larger brackets over here where the crash bar was, slide these on, and bolt these up. With these, we're going to just reuse the existing bolts and kind of just throw them in place for the time being and grab some additional hardware. And so the bottom two are already threaded, which is nice, kind of gets it in place, and then you just put the new ones on with the washers. And now we can mount up the TSS sensor, and now we can install this bracket into the bumper. So this part requires a little bit of customization. We have to cut out the sides on both sides and then drill holes where these dots are, pretty much the same size as those holes. And once you have it done, it should look something like this. And we'll take these little button head bolts, slide them in from the front like that, and mount them onto the bumper. Now you got to prep your parking sensors to go back in. They have to go back into the exact same spot that they came off the bumper. Hopefully I didn't mix these ones up. Now we're getting to some more of the fun stuff. Mounting up our light bar. I can't wait to see the front of this thing. It's going to look so cool. And now I have the light bar perfectly centered, and it is how I want it. And now we can move on to the side lights. These, we got to put the bracket on and tighten it first. And we can get it lined up. It's actually pretty straight. So first up, we can mount this fair lead here. And what's nice is it's almost obvious as to which hardware goes where for the winch. And with some new washers, you can slide this into place. Now this part is going to be a bit challenging, I think. So now we kind of want to tilt this thing forward so we have access to put the bolts in from the bottom. And then now we can mount up our winch. And so this is the point when my microphone failed, so we're going to be doing a voiceover for the rest of this. So at this point we just finished bolting up the winch and just making sure everything is torqued down before installing it onto the truck. So I came up with a pretty janky way to get this bumper onto the truck. We used an engine hoist, and I also had to get a jack stand underneath the bumper so that we could kind of tilt it forward and backwards. So I was able to get the bumper pretty close to where it needed to sit. At this point, I was kind of just trying to feed some bolts in so that we could get it secured and then kind of finesse it afterwards. And here's when I kind of gave up. I needed some help, needed a little extra muscle to help lift and tilt the bumper while I torqued it down. This is definitely a two-person part of the installation. So we're gonna wait for some assistance and get this thing lined up. So with the bumper all mounted up and the grill zip tied, we've got the winch in place, and you can kind of see that you have access that silver bar, which is the freeze spool and engaged function. So it's easily accessible, which is really nice. The other thing is you can also reach it from down below. So now I pretty much just got all of the wiring hooked up for the most part, just kind of getting everything routed, making sure that the winch has got its power and ground, and kind of testing out the winch, just making sure everything works before doing the final touches on torquing everything down. And here we have all of the wiring routed underneath through the firewall, and we're going to route it back to the back seat and get everything all cleaned up and wired nicely. Now I have everything routed to the fuse panel back here, and we're going to be using one for the 40-inch light bar, one for the pods on the side, and then luckily the winch just has its own direct power and ground connection. So here's where I routed the wiring for the winch. I wanted to do it safe, so it had its own kill switch. So we wired in a power switch here that kind of just cuts immediate power to it. And then I'm going to mount this, essentially screw it to this plastic panel so that it's not flying all over the place. So since I have everything torn apart in the back seat, I decided I might as well add a subwoofer. So if you guys want to see a video on that, let me know. I'll make a little video on how I created this wire connection and tapped it to the back sub. So we have everything installed. All the lights are functioning properly. I tested the winch, and I've actually had this bumper on for the past few months now and did some durability testing with it. We went to King of the Hammers, we went up to the snow, and everything has been holding up very well. Overall, I'm very happy with the quality of the bumper, the fit and finish. Nothing has come loose on it with the heavy off-roading that I was doing. So I say this is a win and a great bumper for you to get. And that is going to be it for the video. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you all on the next one.